You've got one life. You're not going to lie on your deathbed and go, oh, I tried that and it failed, I regret it. You will lie on your deathbed and you'll go, oh, I wish I'd have done that. To start with, people were like, what's the F is a float tank? And like, we didn't even know what it was, never mind make a business out of it. I woke up about 2 hours later and I had this big like white flash. And I said to Zoe, I said, you're pregnant. I like woke up, I said, you're pregnant. I just felt like the sperm hit the egg and she was like, shut up. And I was like, I swear to you, I felt it. And she was pregnant. And it was crazy. Like,
let there be light. So today, on another episode of the 108 Float podcast, we have Daniel, founder of Recovery Float, and I'd say newly found friend and brother.
Yeah.
So, and he's here to share his journey and his experiences. So Daniel, what led you to opening Recovery Float?
So I'd worked in corporate, living a corporate lifestyle for quite a while. Working in as a sales manager, general manager at some big retail shops, and then working in recruitment, and I'd had quite a few psychedelic experiences, and I just got to the point where I didn't want to live that life anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live a life where I was adding no value to other people's lives. I wanted to do something where I was helping people and making people feel better in a natural way. And I'd been using float tanks for quite a few years, and I was on this journey and I was trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do, and I was going through all different types of things. I was thinking about becoming a hypnotherapist, I was thinking about lots of different wellness visions, and I had a float booked in one day and I thought, right, when I go to this float session, I'm going to figure out what it is I want to do. I'm going to focus on it and I'm going to have no distractions. All my sensory input's going to be reduced to a minimal, so I can use all my brain power to figure out what it is I'm going to do. And I was just laid in tank. In fact, before that, when I got to the shop for this float, I had an appointment first thing in the morning at 10 a.m. and I got there at 10 to 10 and the shop was still shut. And I'm bringing shop, and next thing you know, I've waited on 10:05, the guy shows up, opens the shutters, walked in the building. It was cold, didn't smell very nice. It felt really dirty, and he said, oh, just give me a minute, I'll just get rooms ready. And he went off to get rooms ready, and I was like, seriously considering if I wanted to float. And he come out, took me into the room. When I got to the tank, and water smelled manky, and I was like, I don't really want to do this, but I thought, just get in. So I got in the tank, and as soon as I laid down, I was just completely relaxed, and I laid there thinking, like, this is such an amazing product, but the whole customer experience is shocking. And from the background I had, I know how much customer journey matters, and I just got to thinking, like, imagine if, like, when I got here, it was warm and it smelled nice and it was clean and we were a friendly atmosphere and a relaxing music, and you know, lots of like live plants to get the oxygen levels up, and some just, you know, walking in the building at first were relaxing to start with, and then having this amazing experience on top of it. How good would that be? And then it just clicked. So I was like, I need to do this. Yeah. I need to open a float centre. So I'm laid in float tank and I'm like, right, that's what I'm going to do. So I came out, and it was in my head for about another maybe 6 to 12 months, and I was thinking about it all the time. Yeah. And when circumstances happened, I was training for a fight, and one of my discs came out and crushed all my nerves in my leg, and I got rushed in for a surgery. And when I woke up from that surgery, I couldn't feel any of my right leg, and it was spreading through to the left side of my body as well. And I was telling the doctors, obviously I was still in hospital, so I'm telling doctors, look, there's something not right. I kept telling me, no, it's fine, it's fine. Next day come round, a different doctor came, I explained to her what were happening, so she sent me back for another MRI. It turns out something had gone wrong in operation, and it had, this disc had come further out after the op and shattered all my nerve, absolutely crushed it. So I ended up having 2 surgeries in 2 days, and I ended up being in bed for about 3 months. I was still working in recruitment at the time, so about 2 days after my surgery, I was laid in bed and I was like, look, I might as well be working if I'm just laid here. The company always said it weren't going to give me any sick pay either, so obviously you got a mortgage to pay, a kid to look after. So I started working 2 days after the surgery while I was laid in bed, and I just got super depressed. And I just thought to myself, this is the opportunity. Like, this could be looked at a very negative situation, but this is not a negative situation. It's an opportunity to start this business. So I used that time to write my business plan. About 2 months into me working from home, laid in bed, my numbers were really low on the recruitment side. 1, I was like super depressed, and 2, there were a lot of issues in the industry I were in at that time. Yep. So I was literally about to quit the job. I spoke to my missus. She said, look, you can't carry on like this, you know, it's making you poorly, you need to stop and just recover. And I had a meeting with one of the bosses that morning over Zoom, and I said to him, I don't think I can do this anymore. And he said, oh, well, I was calling to let you know that we're going to have to let you go, but we're going to pay you for the next 2 or 3 months because you've done a good job up to this point. Oh, like brilliant.
That's a bonus, isn't it?
So bonus. So I then had another 3 months of getting paid every month to literally just work on this business. So I had my business plan done. I started looking at shops, and I think I started looking at shops in the beginning of February 23. I looked at 2 shops. I went to one. It was too small. The second one, and it was just perfect. It had space to expand if we wanted to. It had the rooms downstairs out at way where it was going to be quiet and dark.
Location's brilliant as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the location was great. You know, right in the middle of Leeds and Bradford, and parking outside, 2.5 miles from Leeds city centre, and I put an offer in for that. They accepted that, and I got the keys in March, and then we opened it in May. So it was like 4 months of just complete madness, and everyone was saying to me, like, you're not going to get it open by this date. There's no chance you get it open by that date. But we just worked round the clock. I was still recovering from this back surgery, and a lot of work we did ourselves. And I remember, like, driving around places to go and give out leaflets to different businesses, trying to market it before it opened as we were doing a pre-sale. And my back was so bad, like when I'd step out of the car, my leg would just give way under me, so I'd end up on my knees. Yeah. And I'd get up and just walk in and give these leaflets out. And then the last day of finishing the painting, my back was so bad I had to lay on the floor on my back, and I was painting with my arm out to the side like this. But by hook or by crook, we got it built, thanks to Zoe's family as well, because they helped us massively in building it. And that was it, and it's taken off since then. And then we ended up expanding and putting in fire and ice and massage, and yeah.
From strength to strength, really.
Yeah, it's growing massively because of what it does for people. You know, we put a lot of passion into it, and we really care about helping people, and it comes across, and like I was talking about at the beginning, the customer journey, when you come into a building, it smells nice, it's clean, you know, there's a friendly atmosphere, we're all professional, we all know a lot about the subject, so we can teach people about the science behind it as well, and give lots of tips and tricks on the ways to have the best sessions. And that's how I met you, and we're actually talking to Zoe about it this morning. She said, did Craig know Sean before?
No.
And I said, no. I said, all that friend circle were all made from Recovery Float.
Oh, it's made loads of connections, hasn't it? And it's it's like I say, it's been healing for me, and I didn't even know they existed. It was through a friend says, "Oh, you might want to try this out." 'Cause she had plenty of clients at her salon, and says you might want to give it a try. Went down, and then after the first time meeting you, I got home and I said to Zoe, I says something about Dan. I says he'll end up being an influential part in my life, and the experiences I think me and you've shared together on, and we've helped each other grow on
Massively.
like areas that we couldn't foresee ourselves.
Yeah.
It was like a mirror, and it's definitely opened me into some stuff.
Yeah, well, I was thinking actually this morning or yesterday about when they wanted me to have another surgery, and you convinced me to just try a fast, and I did a 3-day fast, and my back pain went away straight away. And whenever I have a flare up now, I do a 3-day fast, and instantly
The inflammation goes down. Just over, because while we're filming this is over Christmas period, and my back pain's gone really bad over the last few days, and it's just from eating like bad foods, like your crisps with oils and stuff. And at first, because we stopped to eat up in some families, and I'm like, it might be bed, and I'm like, nah, it's not the bed, because it was the same again last night.
Yep.
We're just eating crap that we shouldn't be eating.
I haven't been training, I've been overeating, and my back's been terrible. Not like it has been before, but it's just like super tight all the time, uncomfortable. And yeah, and I get to thinking about it, I'm like, why do we have these special periods where it's like, because although Christmas is a bit of a made-up, corporate thing, I understand that, but it is a beautiful time of year. You know, families get together, people share the love for each other.
Yeah.
But why do we have to spoil it with overindulgence?
It's always this wanting more and extra, and I think the human mind always says, oh, we deserve this, we deserve bad food, or we deserve to shovel ourselves with these things. And I've seen it now. I've started to look at it of a more reflection stage of, because I haven't drank at all this Christmas, and it hasn't allowed me to see what I'm putting in and out of my body, and it gives me that reflection to notice my back pain's from that. It's not from anything else.
Yeah.
And it's good that it has that reflection period, that you know exactly what it is that's triggering it. And now it's your divine will choice if you're gonna carry on eating them foods and feeling like crap, or if you're gonna go, nah, it stops here.
I seen something today saying, it's terrible now that bread and chocolate have got calories again.
He's mad.
So true. It's like I literally got bought like 6 boxes of them Belgian seashells. One of them were from Costco, and it's like this, and I'm like, what am I even meant to do with all this?
She bought me a load of lint, and I just devoured it in 2 days. Just like one in the house.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been kind of trying to do, and I've been inviting people around. I made 2 massive cheesecakes. I've been giving cheesecake out left, right, and centre. Chocolates, blocks of cheese.
You didn't have to make the cheesecakes on top.
I know. But this is it, innit? This is what you do.
In your spare time, that's what it's mad, innit?
It's a tradition. I make a cheesecake with my son for Christmas, and it's like, why? And this year we hadn't even been as bad as what we normally are, because I was like, right, we're not buying loads this year, because literally after Boxing Day, I want to get back on it. I want to start training again. I want to start eating clean again. But then there's just this massive sugar and chocolate, and I'm terrible. Like, if it's in house, I can't not eat it.
Yeah,
So,
it's that control, and that I think that's what this next year is for me. It's cleaning out the temple and keeping it clear, and starting to be a bit more protective of what goes in.
Yeah,
It's very easy to see what everyone else is doing and go, oh, that's bad. But if you're not guarding the gates of your own thing, forget about everyone else.
Yeah, I had a long time off from training with back injuries, and then I put a bit of weight on, and then opening business as well, I've put a bit of weight on through that, and I've been training hard for the last few months, but my diet's not been as good as it should be.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm really going to focus on now, because I just want to get back to how trim I was previously, and I love training, I train all the time, it's literally just a case of what I put in my mouth. But since I stopped drinking, like March last year, I use it as an excuse. Like, I'm like, I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
Stressed out, but you don't drink. Oh, why don't you just have a Mars bar? Oh, do you know what I mean?
I know, but I get instant dry
dopamine.
mouth now. It's not even enjoyable. The fireworks of the party going on in your head as you're eating it is great, but like 2 minutes after, I've got dry mouth. I feel sluggish.
I ate a Chinese the other week, first time in God knows how long, salt and pepper box, and honest to God, I've never felt so rough. The next day, my life, like waking up in the middle of the night, just dry mouth, feeling terrible. Like,
What's it
it's
called? MSG?
MSG, yeah. Jesus. And you just feel shocking, absolutely shocking. It's just not worth it. But it's all a journey, isn't it? So
I was just going back to, like, it's something that's been on podcast last few times that I've started to notice, like, with alchemy. And I'm wondering how strongly you can use it into other matters of your life, because going back to when you said about no one said you'd get that shop open in time.
Yeah.
Do you think you used that as alchemy and used it as them saying no as the fuel to the fire for you to I know that I have done before when the naysayers say I can't do something, it gives me enough fire to go and do it.
I didn't even have that. My mindset at that time was, this is going to work. There's no two ways about it. I had zero disbelief in my mind. And to be fair, whenever the slightest bit came in, I'd just listen to that Earl Nightingale Stranger's Secret. And I know I bang on about it all the time.
No, it's great.
It's absolutely amazing. Earl Nightingale, The Stranger's Secret. And, like, you create reality. You create your own reality. So what you believe is what will happen. And it's very simple, really.
It is very simple,
very
but I
simple.
think all of it's very simple. It's about breaking the conditions of your own mind and someone said the other day about when you're taking so others are always going to judge when you're changing and you're going through this process. But the only time that you'll ever feel wary about it is if you take their judgment on board your ship. Because if you take that water on, it'll sink that ship. And if you then, the more that you get to know yourself on this process, and the more that you know it's exactly what you want and your soul wants, you won't take that water on. It'll just diminish.
My mum's always believed in me, so she was like, really, like, yeah, it'll work. Zoe's mum and dad are very cautious people, so they were a bit like, and they helped us massively to build it all, but we were very, like, unsure. And when we see what we're doing now, you just see how proud they are, you know, because they're like,
it's inspiring,
when you tell people that I'm going to do this, and they're like, to start with, people were like, what's the F is a float tank? And like, we didn't even know what it was, never mind make a business out of it. But I just believed in the product, and I knew what kind of passion we had for it and what that'd do. And yeah, you just see how there's two reactions to it. Like, we're either super proud of you, I've got a lot of friends who are, or they're slightly bitter.
Yeah.
There's people that, like, wish you well in the beginning, but when it actually goes well, because we kind of in the back of our mind, like, oh yeah, like, kind of feel a bit sorry for you, I think, but we think, oh, this guy thinks this is going to work, and it's not, and then it works, and they're like, all their world's just been shattered.
Yeah. Because
they had a ceiling for you. And when you broke that ceiling, it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you don't know me, you don't know my capabilities or anything.
I think a lot of people do that with weight. When people get to a certain weight, friends or whatever, and they'll go, oh, you're doing all right, but don't do any better. Like, just
don't lose any more.
Don't lose any more. I'm like,
yeah.
Nah, you haven't seen where I want to go with it. Because the more that you go into them areas, it makes them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
But you've got to realise that I've noticed on this journey, that isn't anything I should take on board and be pissed off at. That's a problem they're projecting upon you.
Yeah.
It's a state of like, and the more that I work on myself, can only inspire them to, because that's the thing with this podcast is, like, I'm just a working class lad from a working class family, and if I can do anything with my time being here, anyone can.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I mean, like, I've had so many people as well who I know are like, well, your dad set this up for you with business, because my dad had businesses.
Yeah.
He had like 7 businesses. My dad had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not a thing. Not one thing.
And even if he had, coming from a background to give you some pointers in business, isn't that what a father and son's supposed to do? I'm not saying...
But what it is, again, it's them seeing that ceiling.
Yeah,
and they're making excuses for why you've broken it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, well, he's done it because of this. But no, the only people who had anything to do with that business were me and Zoe.
Yeah.
You know, I wrote all the business plan. Me and Zoe took out crazy loans to get it open. Like, I were in a good paid job. Could have just stayed stable doing that. You know, we were wanting to buy a new house, but we took all that and we just risked I say risked it all, but to me
You
it was
didn't
never
want
a
to risk
risk.
for it,
It was never a risk. It was just a matter of time to get off ground. Don't get me wrong, there's been times in the beginning where I was like, whoa, this is, you know...
Because it's scary, it's unknown, isn't it?
It's a bit quiet now, like, oh no. But every time I've ever had this thought, it just works.
Well, I remember you having a conversation when I can't. You were about 4 months into it, and you're like, "It's a bit of a quiet month." Or like, just bring gratitude, and it'll come.
Yeah.
And you rang me up like the following week, and you just went, "It's well picked up."
Yeah.
I'm like, because there's got to be moments that blind faith, you've got to lean into it a bit.
August, September, October, 23. It was quiet. It was like super quiet, and then I was ringing other float centres around UK just to get some tips, some ideas, just like to do something. I need to do something. And I was speaking to some guys from Manchester, and they were doing advertising through a guy in Thailand, and he gave me his details, so I spoke to him, and to be fair, we didn't have the money at the time, but they said, oh, pay me X amount, pay X amount on your adverts, about £1,000 a month. Like, put it in perspective, in October in 23 we did 3,600 quid, so and then bills on top, you know, probably made about 900 quid.
Yeah.
So that's where it was scary, and I was like, we're just gonna have to do it. So chucked this £1,000 at it, and then next month we tripled his turnover.
Cool.
I mean, it's just grown from then. 8 months after that, then we opened the Fire and Ice and the massage.
Yeah.
So, and that were another thing from Earl Nightingale, Stranger's Secret. When you think it's like, when you feel like this is rock bottom, this ain't gonna work, is when you need to go at it 100%. Like, you need to put 110% in now. Like, that's a point where you need to go harder than you've ever gone. Yeah. That's not when you give up. That's when it's make or break. Most businesses will hit that point
and roll over.
And most people roll over and admit defeat. But to me, it was like, nah, what's another £1,000? Let's just do it. And now we spend a lot on marketing, and to me, it's like, as your business grows, you should be investing more into a business.
Yeah.
Because one thing, like, it's hard to bring down your overheads, but if you've got spaces in your business that you can still fill, then you can invest, say, £10 per slot to get a £49, £50, £60 sale from the back of it. When you do it, so when you look at end of month, you're like, wow, we're spending X amount on marketing. But X amount on marketing, we're getting about a 3-to-1 return on investment from that. Yeah. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. I think we can just set up an Instagram page and put some normal posts out and stuff. The way that it's set up today, unless you've got hundreds of thousands of followers, you're not hitting most people's feeds.
Yeah.
Where the way it's set up with the Facebook, Instagram and Google ads, obviously Google ads, people are searching for that specific criteria, and you're coming up top at page first one. Facebook and Instagram, there's people that are just talking about it. Yeah. I know this. I always used to say your phone's listen to you, and people be like, oh, you're crazy, we don't. The amount of customers that we have come into our store, and I ask them how they found out about us, and they tell us that they were just talking about it with a friend. Yeah. They went on Facebook, and the next thing that popped up were our advert. So it's very intrusive, and it's not a good thing, but as a business owner, it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that, because like Zach from Embodied Celestial, he was saying that it can read your mind as well now, because of the frequency of it. The new iPhone's the 6G that's already set up within it. And I'm like, there's been plenty of times that I haven't even been speaking about it, and it's bobbed up on your feed. So, well, but do you just see that as, like, the way that I see it as now is just part of the algorithm of it feeding back? It's just the universe, like,
so they know what to put in front of you through. So what happens is, so basically, say Dave, who liked 5 or 6 different things, and our advert pops up on his Facebook, and he clicked on it and he purchased. Then Alan, who Dave doesn't know, who's liked the same things, it will then mimic the adverts to that person, because it's a criteria of person. Yeah. And that type of person will purchase that type of product 90% of the time. Yeah. So it doesn't need to read your mind, it just profiles you. Yeah, through profiling, they can guess literally as far as like what age you're going to die and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, that crypto teacher, when he started watching his videos, that's what he was saying. He was saying give it another 10, 20 years, it'll start just buying stuff that you like before you've bought it.
Yeah.
It'll just buy it, it'll turn up, and,
Yeah.
and you'll go, oh
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanted this.
that. It's crazy. It's absolutely mad.
But that's the scary point, isn't it? But,
yeah, I mean, the world's changing, isn't it? And it always is, but it always seems to work out, doesn't it? So,
I think so. I think we're just going to go through that point of there's going to be a bit of chaos, and that's what's kind of happening in front of us eyes. We all know certain situations are wrong, but I think it's all levelling itself out. So much stuff's coming to light of how we don't want the world to go in that area.
Yeah.
And I think like you say, it does all level out.
Yeah. The way people are waking up to like wars, to health service, to all these different things, to schooling systems, education.
You're set up to fail, aren't you? In that respect,
it's a crazy amount, but people know now.
Yeah.
Like it's not like before where like all the propaganda that were just pumped out on the 5 TV stations or all the TV stations is now the only way of people getting their information. People can get their information through their own ways and means. That's why we're trying to regulate it so much.
Yeah.
That's why we try to take everything off of Twitter, and why we put all this stuff on Facebook and Instagram on fake news and stuff like that and disinformation. But
I think then you've got the other scary point of it is like you've got people going like pulling away from these systems like your Russell Brands and Rogans, and they've all got a narrative within themselves because you think that it's away from the general thing. We've got to look at the hands that are playing it with the money and see where if these things are working. And this is why I think it's an exciting time, is you can start to take your power back by what you put into your body, what you listen to. And I love that there's loads of podcasts. But the problem what a lot of people has got is just agreeing with someone on everything that they say and not using discernment. Like, I don't expect that anyone should listen to this podcast and go, I believe everything that he says. That'd be terribly wrong because what works for me won't work for you in certain areas. But this is the chance now to really reclaim your own power and sovereignty, and then be eating the right foods, locally sourced. I think that's where we're all wrong with it, is everything's imported and processed foods and all the rest of it. And it's a good area now to be able to fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And then see what works for you, and then try and share your own knowledge with other people.
Yeah, individualism is spiritualism. Like we should all have our own thoughts and share his ideas. And just if you don't agree with something, doesn't mean you have to be angry about it. No, you don't need to resent the person because we've got a different point of view or different feelings. Because if we all felt the same, what a boring world it'd be. Yeah.
Well, we had this, didn't we? When I coming out of a trip the day after, and I'm like, you can't eat meat, and then went mental and telling everyone else they can't eat meat. And that's my life lesson. That's what I've not got to do, and it's not for me to tell you how to live your life.
Don't worry.
If there's a point of you do need to do that, you'll be pointed by that, like divinely, without me shouting and screaming.
When I first did DMT, I just used to walk around and everyone going, have you ever done DMT? You need to do DMT. Like, I'd be like, mad on it. Like, you think psychedelics are great, but sometimes you just, like, you need to just go and reflect and let everything settle in before you start opening your mouth, because you've seen such a powerful experience that you're like, everyone needs to know about this. Yeah. Everyone needs to do this.
But it's like a roller coaster that's new in town.
But it's like, but you just need to take your bit.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And it's not for everyone.
No,
there's different entry points for everyone. I think it's really good for shifting some stuff that you didn't even know were at the forefront of your mind. But then there's the point of, I did it myself, is taking it too many times, abusing it.
Yeah,
but I think, I say that's divine in itself. I needed to do that to know that it's not the right thing to do.
I haven't touched any psychedelics for about 9 months now and felt no need to whatsoever.
Yeah.
But the way it changed my life was just unbelievable. The DMT journey kind of like, after that I lost like 5 stone and I started focusing.
It was a transformation, that wasn't it?
Yeah, within 6 months of smoking DMT I lost 5 stone, and I was getting promoted in my job and just like, became a different person. I became conscious. That's why I was living in an unconscious. It was simple as that. I became conscious. I understood that there were more to life than the meat robot. And I just lived on my subconscious monkey mind and just used to chase dopamine constantly through food, drugs, sex, alcohol, whatever it might have been.
Whatever vice.
Whatever vice I could get, constantly, all day, every day, were constant vice there.
Do you feel now, and I know this is right for me, I'll lock down a vice and I'll go, right, I'm not doing that anymore. And then I see it as a turntable.
Yeah.
It might even be something that I've overcome, and it'll go, oh, go on, go do some of that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's
trying to fight its way away from it.
The fact that you know that you've got vices and you're beating them is massive in itself.
Yeah.
Like, just to be that conscious to understand that is a really big thing. And it's like, this is just a massive journey. I'm 34 now, and I'm not that old, to be fair. So the growth I've had from 26, 27 to now is just crazy. And I think a lot of it's to do with being a parent as well, becoming a dad. That changes you massively. But just to understand these things and to be working on them and bettering yourself. End of the day, if you had it all figured out now, then there's no point in being here anymore, because this is a journey I believe it's a journey to build your consciousness for the next life and the next life and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's something that's bobbed up with me the last couple of days, because it's always forever changing on how I view what it is, what we're here to do. And what I think my mission is to do wholeheartedly is get to the most purest point of what it was when I came in, like as baby Craig. Get to that point of where there's no hate, there's no division. I'm eating like the foods that I truly believe I should be eating, like Garden of Eden stuff, and basically get into that purest nature of my own essence.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. Maybe once you're in that frame of consciousness, that is heaven on earth. Whether you just, because you're always guided away from the bad situations, or you know how to handle yourself. You're not reactive to the world. Like the one for at the moment, I know I said it on the other podcast, is about the dog that we've got. The dog's also brought up a lot of anger for me.
Yeah.
Which I knew that I had, like, with my children, if they get angry, I'd grit my teeth, and it's something that I want to work on. But the more with the dog, I've seen it and I feel it. And we literally had, I had reflexology done the other day, and she went to the bottom of my foot and she went, your liver's hard as well. And I'd watched a clip the day before about Chinese medicine and what anger does. When you get angry and you grit your teeth and cortisol goes into your system, it starts destroying that energy that goes into the liver, starts destroying it from inside out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is my next test. And I was speaking to Daz at work, explaining how I get angry and grit teeth, and he went, I do that as well. And I thought, well, this is next test for me to do. So if I overcome it, then that becomes my strength and my gift to share to other dads or mums. Mainly, I'd say it's mainly dads, but mums as well. That you can start to share that gift of how I got through it. Because I know there's breathing techniques, but it's like it comes straight to the teeth. Like, I'm gritting down.
I think sometimes you just need to let anger out.
Yeah,
I think you get angry for a reason. And I think sometimes with kids as well, there's nothing wrong with a bit of tough love. I feel like in today's society, it's based around being so soft that the children don't have.
Yeah, I've heard of soft parenting. I don't think I've asked there was a woman the other day in the local supermarket, and she was like, will you please stop pulling stuff up there? Please, will you? And I'm like,
just going to put out, it didn't work for my son, and I left it for years to allow him to, because Zoe were adamant on it.
Yeah.
And we're having all that trouble at school and stuff. But he is autistic, so that's another reason why we're like, oh, you need to be super soft. I did exactly the opposite, and I took all his toys away. I was super strict with him, and he's grown so much. He's so much better for it, because they don't understand. If you ask them in the same, that's what energy, frequency and vibration is. The way you vibrate a tone at someone is what they're going to take on board. So if you're just like, oh, would you like to do this? And, oh, please could you stop doing that? There's no difference to the child.
Yeah.
Like, the child don't understand that that's right and that's wrong. because it don't make them feel a certain way. They feel the same way throughout. So it's like, oh, well, if I feel the same and she's talking to me the same, and it don't matter if I pull this thing off of here and break this, or if I push someone at school, or if I'm good, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Where we should know that good behaviour is rewarded, and bad behaviour will be, you're going to lose things. There's going to be repercussions to your actions.
I'm definitely with you on that. I just don't want it to... Yes, I understand with shouting at them or whatever and getting it to that point, but it feels like I'm reacting to the energy and it's going down within. And I've never noticed this before. I only noticed it when I was training near the other morning, and after a day of like dog going off on one, kids like and every day, and in the morning I was working out, and I always never got this in gyms, why people grunted or screamed. I thought they just do it. It was like off-putting for me to go to a gym that were happening. And when I'd done the workout, I was like releasing this rage. Yeah. Like I were doing it, grunting, and it didn't even sound like me, and it were coming out. And I think that's what I was doing. I was channeling that energy that I pushed down and suppressed.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it felt good that it was getting out, and it's not I'm not releasing it upon someone who doesn't deserve it, because it's normally to your nearest and dearest that does get the repercussions of you having any altercation.
All energy is good energy. It's just about the way that we use it.
Yeah.
Like, anger can be used as a really positive energy if it's used correctly. The worst thing to do is to try and hold on to it and store it. I don't mean to like scream and shout at people and attack people and stuff like that, but you can use it in bursts to show that you know that things aren't acceptable and you're not happy with it. And you can also use it for working out massively. Like, there's so much energy that you can use in positive ways that people are scared of.
Yeah.
When you should embrace it and figure out how to use it properly.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like them superhero movies when we get the kids at first and the kids get this special power but they can't control it.
Yeah.
Same with us.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's mad, isn't it? What where do you see yourself in the next few years then with Recovery Float?
Well, we were discussing this earlier. I want to open a bigger unit. I want to open a bigger unit with a more communal area, and then have some more float rooms, massage rooms, and maybe a private room as well for the fire and ice.
Yeah. And
have a big communal fire and ice area as well, because a lot of people do like the privacy of a fire and ice, like with ours, because it's only up to 2 people. And it's you and your friend, or you and whoever it is you want to bring, or just you by yourself. There's a lot of people that prefer that. Yeah. It gives them that time to be able to meditate, or just think, or just relax, or, just
I prefer it that way.
Yeah.
Because I think it's nice to have the option of both, but them days, a lot of people find it hard in a busy, noisy world to take themselves away and then put themselves in another same situation, and it's like, no, I need this. Especially being a parent, we have to. I don't get down to the float centre as much as I want to, because it's hard with children and the rest of it. So when I do get away, it's nice to
have that space. A lot of people are body conscious as well, so they don't have that stress to worry about,
Yeah.
And it's a decent size 4-person sauna. So when you get a 4-person sauna yourself, you can lie down, you can relax, you can play music. You don't have to be conscious about how long you're getting in ice bath for, because there's no one stood there watching. It's not a battle against anyone else but yourself. And people love it, absolutely love it.
What kinds of people are you getting that come down to float?
Well, we have Jimmy Carr.
I know, see.
The famous comedian. We had Becky Hill, the pop star, within 2 weeks of each other, actually. Which were a bit surreal, and we both loved it. Becky Hill especially, she loved the privacy part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who she was when she first came in. It wasn't until she'd finished the session and come out and we were talking. Yeah. When it come out that she had a show in Leeds, and she was lovely as well. She put me on guest list for the show. Nice. I couldn't go because I had bookings and no one would cover the shop for me. Everyone said you should have just shut shop. I'm like, no, I can't do that to my customers. Can't do that. But yeah, she was super nice, and we get all types of people, athletes, fighters, high roxers, crossfitters, runners. Absolutely every type of athlete comes to us for the recovery aspect. It's just such a broad, you can't really put your finger on it, because we get so many just normal people that just want general relaxation.
Yeah.
You know, just living busy lives with work.
And these kind of people, have they heard about flotation centres, or are they?
The majority of our customers got introduced to it through us.
Yeah.
We have people that have been to other float centres and now they come to us, but majority of them were first timers.
Yeah.
So it's crucial for us to give a really, really good experience. And we get so many referrals these days. Like, lots of people come in because a friend told them about us. And majority of people really, really enjoy the sessions, and the full work session's really popular as well, where people do a massage, a float, a fire and ice all together, and you get 3 hours of treatments. And it's like it makes it more feasible for people because the prices aren't crazy, and also on top of that, like, you've got 3 hours of sessions, so you start at 10, you're done by 1, and you just feel absolutely brand new, rather than having to take a full day out at a spa and stuff. You can have a morning with us and just come out feeling unreal.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreal. And we have a lot of people saying that the effects last for up to 2 days afterwards, and actually the science shows that as well, that 60-minute float, a good float, can reduce anxiety levels by up to 70% for up to 48 hours.
You've also touched on the sleep as well, because I know when it were Riley, his missus who recommended me come to you, but he ended up coming after, and he had the watch on, and he said he never has decent sleep, and straight after that he'd had like 80% sleep, so it's good for that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, lots of people send us the sleep scores after floating, and the sleep results are just unbelievable. And we got to think though, like, when your muscles are so tense constantly, even when you get in bed on a night and you feel like you're relaxed, like, you've got all that weight of gravity pushing down on you, on either your back or your hips, whichever way you're sleeping, you know, you've got all that pressure. And to get somewhere where it's close to zero gravity, and all your joints, your ligaments, your muscles, everything opens up, even the connection of your bones, like, gets to kind of loosen off. And like, every time I'm in float tank, after about half an hour, 40 minutes, I move my ankles, and both my ankles snap, my knees snap, you get a lot of cracks in your back as well, as everything just opens up and realigns, because everything's disjointed from all pressure of sitting in different ways. And when you go zero gravity, everything gets to open up to its natural state again, just like when you were in the womb. So it's just unbelievable. And then the mental aspect of it as well. I come out of floats feeling quite silly a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm just so, like,
childlike.
Yeah, childlike, exactly. Yeah, I'm just, like, so relaxed and happy, and my brain's just completely switched off for 60 or 90 minutes, and my back feels great. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
No, I definitely need to get back down.
Yeah, I'm talking about it. I really want to go for a float now, but we're fully booked today, unfortunately.
So, what is the hardest truth you've had to swallow? Whether it being like just a general truth, or a truth about yourself that you've maybe had to face and then go.
That we're an addict.
Yeah.
Or an addict in, like.
Want to expand on that a bit more?
Yeah, with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Once I started, I just couldn't stop, and I'd go and party scene. I'd go out for days on end.
Yeah.
And it's scary to look back on, really, because when you're in it, like, your mind.
Normal.
It's just normal, yeah, and you're just ruining your brain, your body. And when I see old friends who are still in that kind of circle and still doing them things, it's just like, wow. And that's what psychedelics did. It took me a long time to stop using drugs, but they taught me that it was wrong. So, like, after I did psychedelics, then when I'd go back and use alcohol or drugs and stuff, I'd just have massive depression afterwards, because I didn't know how negative it was on my life. When I was unconscious, I didn't feel like that. It was just, you go and do it, and then next day you'd eat loads of crap food to get your dopamine back up. And that's what kind of put me on the journey to stopping. And it took years and years and years to actually stop. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm just a better parent, better business owner, better partner, better at everything. And
yeah,
it doesn't interest me. It's a passing thought sometimes, like over Christmas. So his granddad bought me a bottle of whiskey, and I thought a few times, I was like, might have a few glasses of that tonight. And I just think to myself, I'll leave it for today and see if I still want some tomorrow. And the next day I'd always wake up and think, I'm glad I didn't do that. Yeah. So that was the biggest, like, life lesson for me. Is understanding that I've got that kind of mindset. But it's not a negative thing, because I can be addicted to positive things. I can be addicted to business. I can be addicted to working out. I can be addicted to lots of good things. It's just when I allow it to become around something that's negative, where it has a negative impact on my life. So having that kind of
awareness,
is massive. And having the ability to be addicted to stuff's great if you use it correctly. Because it means that you're just 100% focused on certain things. But it's just about the way that you use it. Like I said earlier, all energy is good energy. It's just the way that you use it, controlling your powers.
And you can manipulate it, can't you, to how you want it to be.
And that's all through being conscious.
Yeah, and it's a difficult one as well. I also wanted to touch on, with just Christmas being and gone, it's something that I've struggled with recently, is because I'm noticing whatever environment we have for us kids, they are more drawn to, if it's normalised, like drinking. Like Christmas for me doesn't represent. I've tried to enjoy this Christmas, and the word, I think, when Sam were on, is, if anywhere at the time that you're using the word try, you're forcing. Christmas doesn't resonate with me anymore. Well, it hasn't done for a long time. I don't agree that it's right for children to be in rooms where alcohol's seen as it's normal, and that people can act stupid. And I know we've had fun times and people can get up and sing and dance, but it's the energies that it stirs up, where people are suppressing how they actually feel, and it coming out in nastiness. Or I don't like what Christmas represents. It doesn't represent the love in my eyes, and this is like, you can have your own view on it, and it's something I really wanted to talk on, because it's something that's present in my mind. It's not all about it's too much about materialism and receiving material. I love the fact of getting together, but getting together now and taking my family into areas where other people are drinking and it's normalised, I don't want to do that.
But you create your own version of Christmas, don't you?
I'm trying to.
That's what you're doing now with your kids.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but then you've got families, and that's the way they do things, and that's the hard part, I find.
Luckily for me, my mum and dad were never big drinkers.
Yeah.
So that was like never a big thing in my household.
Mm-hmm.
We never got drunk and argued and stuff like that when we were kids. My missus's mum and dad drink, but not like so heavy that they're absolutely sloshed at Christmas.
Yeah.
They'll have a few drinks, and I don't mind being around that when it's like that. I mean, it don't really bother me, but what I can see is when people drink way too much and then start causing arguments and having all these negative effects, where I can see where your point of view comes from. But as parents now, we create what our child's version of Christmas is going to be, and that's on us. And if it takes a big decision to say, look, I don't want to be around these people if that's the way they want to do it, then that's what you do. And sometimes you just need to cut back.
No, it's healthy boundaries, and it's hard because I'm not just I'm just one side of the parenting, and it's very. If Christmas were just about getting together and sharing good food, and like it is more about being together, I'd love that. But even like when I've been up this weekend, and there's even family members saying they don't like Christmas because it doesn't represent what they say. It's too corporate. It's all about money. Yeah. It is about buying more excessive stuff. Like the kids have so much, they don't know what to do with it. Yeah. It's like on what stamp is that good?
So we cut back on that massively. We don't spend a fortune on Cam.
Yeah.
We got a load of monster trucks that he wanted, which he plays with all the time.
Yeah,
carries him in a bag everywhere.
I don't shop about him. He loves them.
He loves it. We got a few of the big monster truck toys.
Yeah.
But he plays with his toys, and I love him playing with his toys. And I'd much rather him playing with his toys and get stuck to a screen, because it's the imagination. He's creating things with his mind, and it's a really positive thing for kids to play. So it's about what...
They're in
Me and
fair
Zoe
state,
discussed
aren't they?
this. Yeah, me and Zoe discussed it's like getting them educational stuff. And it can be fun stuff. It doesn't have to be like books and stuff, although Cameron absolutely loves reading. It can be things where it's just like yesterday when I went to go get my haircut, I come in and they were doing a Monster Jam show with Zoe, and Zoe had a note, pen and pad out, and she's writing down the scores, so he's doing the different tricks with the monster trucks on the different ramps and stuff he's got, and then he's doing like the actual show, and he's scoring them on what the best ones are, and so he's working with numbers, but he's working with his imagination, he's creating things, and it's great. That's amazing for children to do, because...
And you're encouraging that creativity as well.
Yeah. Well, your problem-solving skills are massively built upon your creativity as a child and how much you play and your imagination. So that's a positive side of it for me, is when we forget a lot of nonsense that we're not interested in and it's pointless. But when it's something we're really passionate about and something that's going to help them to grow and to be able to have better use of the brain growing up, then I've got no issue with it whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you think as well, like, I took actually to get Zoe a present, I think it might even be Christmas Eve, we bobbed into town, and they're starting to, it's noticing, because for the year previous we were feeding, he never went with me to feed the homeless, but he's noticing it.
He came once. He came with us.
Did he come?
Yeah.
Did he come?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Sorry, he did. Yeah, of course he did. But do you think that's a good thing to show them, that that's an actual thing? Because they don't. I believe it is, because I was saying to him, I said, you're just not as lucky as what you've got, and like not everyone's as privileged. And this Christmas has been absolutely brilliant throughout. Just bringing gratitude and realising the things that he takes for granted aren't given to other people.
Well, the big thing is as well is life choices, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people, you can get super unlucky, and I'm not saying that a lot of people in them situations aren't super unlucky. They are, but there's always times in your life where you can take, for example, with my back issue and stuff like that, and being in bed. That were a pivotal point in my life where I had to make a decision. Life choices drastically affect where you're going to be in life, and I think you can use that as a tool to say, look, you can go speak to these people, and we've probably been unlucky in some ways in life, but there were decisions made at some points that led them down this path rather than another.
Yeah. Playing victim rather than taking their own power.
Yeah, because there's people in really bad situations in life that come out on top, and it's difficult to say, and a lot of people won't like it, but you need to be responsible for your own actions, you know. That's a big thing that I'm taking into this next year, is the small decisions lead to the big changes. So the small decision to put another post out on Instagram, to make a new reel to go out on as adverts, to not eat that and eat this, collectively over time makes a massive change in your life.
Yeah. Micro to the macro.
Micro to the macro, and just been more aware of these small decisions where I go, oh, but I'm slightly stressed now, so I can eat this, or I'm a bit tired today and I've been at the gym at 5 o'clock this morning and I've took camp to school, so once I put these in this flow, I'm just going to chill out.
What's your take on the internal battle then with that? Because like everyone's got it, but not a lot of people like to speak on that.
I think once you're aware of it and you're conscious to it, then it's very easy to make the right decisions. I think when you're running off a subconscious mind and a monkey mind, it's way easier to just dismiss it and go, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that. But how many times I'm not going to do that leads to you being in a terrible situation? Yeah. And how many times and do you know what, a lot of time when you actually do the thing that you don't want to do because it's a more difficult thing, 99.9% of the time you feel so much better after doing it because you've got fulfilment for doing something that's difficult.
Yeah, I think Modern Wisdom's podcast said that. It's like said that's where the magic is in the work that you're not done.
Yeah.
You're doing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the work that you're avoiding.
And it's never as bad when you procrastinate on something. When you actually do it, it's never as bad as what you were like, oh, I really don't want to do that. And you procrastinate. When you actually do it, and you're like, oh, we're actually quite fun.
I think like what Adele said is you've got to try and make, well for me personally, you've got to try and make everything into a play rather than say, oh, I have to do this.
I
Like
get
try
to do
and I get to do it, but also try and make it like you said, get kids toys or whatever, so it's educational but fun. Try and make it fun for yourself. Don't make it that, oh, I've got to do this and it's boring. It's because you're gonna go, I don't want to do it at all. Try and make it into some kind of form of game for yourself to enjoy the process of it.
I think as we get older, we just get serious with everything. Everything's got to be serious. Like starting a business has got to be serious. And you do in some aspects, but you've got to have fun. It's a big thing I want to take into this year as well, is to have more fun.
I feel like I've been connecting back to that recently, just through doing this. Like, it's just been enjoyable, the whole process of it. I mean, there's not a bit of it I don't like. I love the conversations, I love like the build up to it. I'm starting to, even like the teething problems we've had with cameras and X, Y and Z, it's all been a fun process. It's like, oh, I don't want to fall for that again. And like, you're building up, you're like yourself when you're doing your business, is like, you're making it into a well-oiled machine. Yeah. But it's a fun process in doing so.
Yeah, when I was driving here this morning, actually, I was thinking, because the girls are working at a girl who works for us and one at masseuses, and just to be so lucky to be in that position now where like the business is running and I don't even have to look at it, you know. I completely trust these people that work for us. We've got the right energy in there. We've got good people, and like, I'm so fortunate to be in that position now. And I just want to keep growing on that so I can have people working there more to give me more time to be able to build more, because that's where I find my joy, is like the building process of it, the business plan, the looking at buildings, at how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that, what's his figures going to be, what does it need to be for this, and sales assumptions, etc., etc., what's his marketing strategy going to be, what's the branding going to be, like all of that stuff. That's where I'm like in my element. That's where I'm like, that's
your creative mindset, isn't it?
Creative mindset, because I'm like, oh yeah, we can do this and do that, and then seeing it all come together is beautiful, but it's not as fun as putting it together.
Yeah,
once it's together,
becomes mundane, doesn't it?
Yeah, then it becomes like, it's beautiful to see people come in super stressed and leave smiling and happy, and I absolutely love that. And like, smiles spread for miles, and the amount of smiles we pump out every day of that building, like the amount of positive energy that we're pumping out, is beautiful. But now I just want to like do it bigger, do more.
Well, basically what you're doing is you're just doing what you've done internally. You want to do it externally, is you want to evolve.
Yeah.
You're evolving. Because I think that's why today's society and most people walking about are unhappy, is because they've gone stagnant.
Yeah.
They've gone stagnant with themselves. They've hit that glass ceiling, what they believe to be, this is where they're just going to settle, and they're all right. Everyone's all right just getting by as they are, but we've got to evolve. And that's where the fulfillment comes, is when you are evolving.
Yeah. It's beautiful to see how many people are more conscious about the health, mental and physical wellness as well, because like when I was younger, someone told me about this kind of stuff, I'd be like, what are they doing? Like, you know, I'd just dismiss it completely, and the amount of people you wouldn't expect whatsoever to be interested in these kind of things now, and to understand that there's more to life than what we've been led to believe. Yeah. It's beautiful to see, like, people are interested about the mindset, the consciousness, you know, the physical and mental, because it's like, it's all well and good being really physically fit or really mentally fit, but you need to combine the two because it's all interlinked.
It's like stoicism as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
They bring it together. That I want to ask you, are you getting young people coming then to flotation centres?
Yeah, we've got loads of young people.
Because like, going back, I wouldn't have been.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't have caught me.
Yeah. One of the girls who comes, she came once with her mum, and then she's at uni in Leeds, and her mum got her a membership, And she fire and ices once a week, and she floats every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And she's 19, 20, and she brings a lot of friends with her as well. But yeah, we've had really young people, and we've got quite a lot of young regulars as well, and it's just a complete mix of people. Like, you can't categorise it.
No.
Looking at us ROI on sales and the criteria of people that purchase it, it's normally between the 25 and 50 range.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've got a little bit more money to play with and stuff. But yeah, we still get a lot from like 18 to 25 range as well. So
that's cool. And what would you say is the lowest point of your life? Just so it gives people an outlook. So say you're expecting your next child as well, aren't you? So,
yeah.
So you're pretty much on that point of your highest point of your life.
Yeah, we've got another child, haven't we? Cameron's.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Yeah, Cameron's doing really well at school. Obviously, he's autistic, and we were many years of worry. But come on, so like I used to worry, is he going to be able to live a normal life? He's going to be, and I've got zero worries now. Like, someone came in the shop yesterday. I had some electrician coming to do some stuff, and Cameron he just used to come up to people and just start talking. Absolute madness. Do you know, whatever's in his brain, just find out. And he walked up to him and he went, "Hi, what's your name?" Put his hand out, and he said, "Oh, Jamie." He said, "Nice to meet you, Jamie. My name's Cameron." And me and Zoe were like...
I've noticed a massive change in just a small... I've only
known
you just over a year, yeah.
Yeah, he's grown massively, so, like, that's a massive weight off my shoulders. But yeah, back to lowest point. I think there's been quite a few, to be fair.
Yeah.
When I were, like, obese, and I was driving to work, crying, because I'd been using drugs all night and I didn't want to do it, and then I'd go to work, and then next day I'd start to feel better in the evening, do it again, and I'm just in this constant loop where I knew it was wrong and I wanted to stop, but I couldn't.
See a way out.
Yeah, and I got out of that, and then I found martial arts, and that were a real sanctuary for me. And then obviously my back went, and I couldn't do any martial arts, couldn't do any exercise. I built Recovery Float up, and although it was a beautiful time in my life, it was a really difficult time as well, because I was working crazy hours, 6-7 days a week. I think the first June or July 23, we had a holiday booked, me, Zoe, Cam, Zoe's mum and dad, so all their family, and it were booked and paid for. We'd done it the year before, but because we'd opened shop, I said, I can't close it. So I give up this family holiday, and I worked like 14 days straight. And these are the sacrifices you've got to make to get a business. People are like, oh, you opened it, and it just went, no. No, there were a lot of difficult times, like really, really hard. Kind of took a piece of me. So although it were a beautiful time, that were a really low point in my life, even though it were a high point at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I put so much into it, and I couldn't do the exercise because my back was still bad, and I was working so much, and I wasn't seeing Cam, and I wasn't seeing Zoe.
That were really hurting you, wasn't it?
Yeah, really, really hurting me. So although this big dream I had, and it were amazing, there were a lot of negatives to it as well, but you've got to put that work in. You just got to do it. So to answer your question, I'd say them 2 times were probably the lowest in my life.
Yeah.
But back in the day when I used to do some really bad things with drugs and stuff like that, were a low point as well. But I was unconscious, so I didn't really know. Like back then, I didn't think about it like that.
It was just a given, wasn't it?
But that's life. It's a bit like the stocks and shares or crypto chart.
Yeah, that's why I look at it. It's exactly how I look at it. It's the top of one mountain is the bottom of another, and it's just. It's a big graph, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's how what you take from it as well. I've started to see it as like the lady. She's recently like we do repeat work for her, and she's like, "You're just so chill," and I'm like, "I wasn't always like this. I just want it." Yeah. and you're asking ladder, what did he do bad stuff? And like, I believe you've got to have done bad stuff. So once you start rising up. And you're consciously aware, you can relate to people who was in the same position as you, so you can help them. If you have no experiences of any of that, how can you connect to them? No. And they're the ones who we're trying to change the tide on, really.
I'm glad that I had all them experiences, because it's made me into who I am and to what I understand. And more than anything, like, to be a good parent, because there's nothing that my kid can't come home after he's like used drugs or something. 'Cause I don't know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously you got to let them make their own choices in life and stuff, but you need to guide them.
Well, that's what we are. We're guides for them, aren't we?
Yeah, there's some things that, like, my parents didn't understand anything like that because it wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
So being able to have all this knowledge now to be able to pass down and to be able to guide and help, I think that's massive. So yeah, I'm not even going to call them low points. I'm going to call them
Yeah.
growth points.
Growth points. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. And it must make you so much more excited to have this next child.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to be doing it all with this mindset now, to have this way of thinking, and you know, and to not use mind-altering substances, and to not drink alcohol, and to not do all these things, and to be more present and just be like, I can't, honestly, I can't wait. Weird though, like with Cameron, I knew it were a boy. Like, I was adamant. I just knew instantly. This is a crazy one. People always think I'm lying with this.
No,
It's
no, I
weird,
don't.
but because we were trying for Cam for ages, and then we had to we went to hospital to get help to conceive. But the first session we had, we just do a scan to make sure everything's all right in Zoe. And the first session, we did the scan and we were like, oh, you've got an egg there now. Go away and have sex on these days. So we did. And it takes quite a while for the sperm to go and hit the egg. It can be a few hours.
Yeah.
And what we obviously did the deed.
Did the deed.
Did the deed. And then I fell asleep and I woke up about 2 hours later and I had this big like white flash. And I said to Zoe, I said, you're pregnant. I woke up, I said, you're pregnant. I just felt like the sperm hit the egg, and she was like, shut up. And I was like, I swear to you, I felt it. And she was pregnant. And it was crazy, like.
Let there be light.
Let there be light. But the thing is, it's like, is it that crazy? Is it that crazy that a living part of me is still connected to me in some energetic way?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it's that
No,
crazy.
I don't think it is.
I think it's like, I don't know.
I think it might have been you've been more in tune with your body and you're more in tune with your mind. That it's your intuitive.
I didn't have that this time. I didn't have a clue. You know, like,
Still don't.
yeah, I come back from Turkey and she was like, here. I'm like, what's this? Pregnancy test. So, and now I've got zero clue if it's a boy or a girl. I'm like, one day I'm like, 1 minute I'm like, oh, I think it's a girl, and I'm like, oh, no, I think it's a boy.
But I think that's cool, isn't it? We did it second time round. We didn't want to find out, and I think it made it exciting.
Oh, I'm definitely finding out.
Yeah,
as
you.
soon as I can. I'm quite impatient. I just want to know.
So what would be your takeaway for anyone that's maybe going through an hard time or looking for some kind of change? What would you advise that worked for you to start to take them first steps?
Gratitude. Show gratitude for what you've already got. And it's easy saying all this because, like, if you think about it, you can make all these right decisions, you can do everything perfectly, but then a close relative, a family member, a friend, someone passes away, you get some really bad disease. These things are uncontrollable. So you can't control these points in your life. You know, it's bad things are going to happen.
You can only control how you react to them, can't
you? Can only control how you react to them, so try to show gratitude for the things you do have today. And these are all things that I can take on board and do better myself. Whenever I hate saying stuff like this, it sounds a bit preachy and stuff, and I'm by no means perfect.
It's
whatsoever.
your experiences, mate. That's all.
Exactly. But yeah, trying to show more gratitude and try to look at them not as low points as growth points.
Yeah.
And just trying to make the right decisions in these difficult times, and spending a bit of time with yourself to really think about these, like using the float tanks. Like, if you don't like using float tanks, just going out into nature, meditating, whatever it is where you find this solitude and peace where your mind can really get to the depths of itself, because for some people psychedelic experiences are great for these things as well. taking time out to, when you're at these low points, to really go away and think about what it is you want to do. Think about what it is that's making you unhappy. And sometimes it might be as simple as not showing gratitude. Remember that time when we were both floating and I was really down at the time we were building the new parts of business, and we were just like, we got put a really short lead time in to get it finished, and I was so stressed. And I went into the floor and I come out and I was just smiling, and you were like, what happened in there? And I just had this epiphany. I was like, I've not been showing any gratitude. I've not been showing any gratitude, and I've not been enjoying the process of what's happening. So try to stop looking at the end goal and look at the process that you're in.
Yeah. And why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it? And just be grateful that you know that you want to be better and you know what you want to do to get there. Even if you don't know what you want to do to get there, you know you want to do something to get there. So you've already started the process.
Yeah.
And if you spend time actually allowing your mind to think about these things, it will come up with what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
And then once you get that, you need to pick it up and run 100 miles an hour with it. Like, you need to just go for it. Like, don't think of anything else. It can't go wrong. It will go right. Get as much information as you can on the subject. Like, go out, speak to experts, ring people, read books, learn these things that you need to know to make it successful, and then just go for it. Like, you've got one life. You're not going to lie on your deathbed and go, I tried that and it failed, I regret it. You will lie on your deathbed and you'll go, I wish I'd have done that. Yeah. Because what could have happened is going to be way worse than even if something didn't work.
No, I resonate with that. You've got to, anything that it's seeking change, and I think once you seek change, change is seeking you as well, and it's like linking it both up. And I bet you wouldn't ever change how life's going for you now, would you? No,
hard work's always rewarded as well, in some way or another. Even if you do something and it don't work, like the life skills you build in that, there's many successful people that have failed hundreds of times before they've got it right. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, the business that I'm in now might possibly fail in a few years, and if it did, what I'd learned from it, it's massive.
It'd give you the skills to go into the next one.
Give me the skills to go into the next thing, exactly. I know it won't, but...
Yeah, it's not gonna. I think a lot of people now with social media and it all being out there, they're scared of the losses and scared of looking silly. I'm scared of staying the same. That outweighs looking silly to anyone. Yeah,
you've just got to do what you're passionate about as well. That's the key. Like, don't try to do something to make money. Do what you're passionate about, because if you try to do something because you think it'll make money, it's never going to work. Well, I'm never going to say never. It might possibly work and you might make money off it, but
I think that's what this whole world's decaying of now. It's losing its gloss and its shine because people are chasing money, and you can feel the energy of people. I bet you've seen it when people just turn in and they're asking a part of your business just for money, and they aren't doing it to add any value out of the common good. And you can feel that energy and you're aware of it and you're like, nah. And even starting this podcast off, it's not that people are like, oh, what money are you making, what have you got to make it up to? I'm like, I know that it is milestones, but at the moment I'm just enjoying the process of seeing where it goes and organically letting it grow. I'm also now getting people who are coming on and just referring me to people saying, you're like so-and-so, do you want to talk to them? And I've done no background check onto them until they tell me who they are. I'm like, I'm organically letting the universe just shape it for me. And if it chimes, it chimes. You can feel the energy of if someone wants to come on just to sell a product. I don't want any of that, especially if it's not a product that I think isn't good,
Yeah, it's one of them things. You just want to speak to people that you want to speak to. You don't want to do anything for...
Anything forced is not good, and it's like I'm doing this podcast for the common good. And anything that I like, the flotations, the recovery float's been brilliant for me. So
it helps.
It needs sharing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's one of them things. It's not for everyone, but I like to think now that we have got something for everyone. Cause it's not the floats, it's a fire and ice. It's not that, it's a massage, and it's not a combo of all three. It's a combo of two, and like, we've got different customers for different things now as well. Yeah. So it's cool. But yeah.
No, thank you for coming on, Dan.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Cheers.